This episode is powered by Outpost Roasters, small batch, high quality coffee with soul. Outpost Roasters in Johnson City specializes in freshly roasted, small batch, ethically sourced, fair trade local coffee. That's what sets them apart from the big guys. They work directly with small farms and co ops to ensure responsible practices and rich, balanced flavor in every single cup. Whether it's early mornings or late nights, their 12-ounce bags deliver bold, smooth coffee at a totally fair price. Head to outpostroastersjc.com to explore their blends and single origins. Outpost Roasters, coffee that's definitely worth waking up for. Good morning.
Good morning.
And it's funny because I just asked you off camera about your name, Robin. And we met, when was that leadership breakfast?
Gosh, it must have been April.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Mid-April, maybe, somewhere in there?
Somewhere around then.
And it was the Moser Center put on the leadership breakfast.
Yes.
And you know what? I had never heard of Carson Newman University until
really?
that morning. And I mean, that was awesome. And then I learned about the university. And then, because we're newer to the Tri-Cities, we've only been here since 2023. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this place sounds awesome. And then when I heard about you and the, I don't even know, one of the guys that was presenting was like, she started a festival, you're going to have to ask her about it. And I was like, well, that's super vague. And I kind of want to know what festival she started. So then, like, as soon as the breakfast was over, because the room was pretty crowded too, and I was like, where is she? Where is she? I want to talk to her because, like, my interest was piqued. And there wasn't many women in the room too, and I was like, where is she? Like, I need to find this girl. So then I came over to you and I was like, what did you start? And so that's kind of like how this whole thing started. So Robin, if you want to just give like a little intro about yourself and what this festival is.
Absolutely. So yes, I work for Carson Newman. I'm a professor. I teach management, marketing. I teach entrepreneurship is my main center there, which is why I was at the Moser Center entrepreneurial leadership breakfast. But the reason he keeps it vague is because it can be a little controversial, but I run a UFO festival along with my husband in Bristol. It's a free UFO festival. It's called Saucers Over Appalachia.
Yep.
We're in our second year in Bristol. We used to run this festival in Wytheville, Virginia. It was called Wytheville UFO Festival down there. It was more of a convention there. It was indoors. This one's outdoors, so we can expand a lot more. We had about 7,000 people come out last year.
Oh my gosh, 7,000 people?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we're expecting a bigger crowd this year. So it's really exciting. It's a lot of work, and we're getting close, so the anxiety is starting to creep in, but
yeah,
we've had big plans for this. So
wait, hold on. So the date, so it's Tuesday. So what are we, 3 weekends out?
Yeah, we're very close.
And I can't even, so what prompted you guys? So you missed it, Brian. 7,000 people came last year. Oh. 7,000. Okay, hold on. You get your pick of what you want. We'll just have like a
Start with
stash.
this. Perfect.
Have a stash on the table. Oh, okay. If you need something else, just tell Brian and he'll get it. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
So you're expecting even more. How did this start? At what point were you and your husband, Brian, like, you know what? We need a UFO festival here.
So I can start at many points in time of how this started. I will start back in 2016, probably.
Okay.
So back in 2016, we started writing a book or researching a book, which became Saucers Over Appalachia.
Okay.
And this was sort of prompted because my husband's a historian. That's what he does, especially local history. So he remembered that around the time he was born, his mom said she saw a UFO. So what we did is we went to the library in Bristol and we got on the microfiche machine. And we started at the beginning of the year because he was born in 1973.
They have a microfiche at the Bristol Library?
They do.
No.
Free to use, really easy. They're super nice because nobody uses them.
I didn't even know that still existed.
Yep. Johnson City has one too, except theirs is digital.
Oh my, no, it's not. Microfiche can't be digital. That defeats the purpose.
I think so. It doesn't feel as real.
Yeah. You got to do that whole weird, like,
It's
trying to.
it's
Oh
much
my
more frustrating,
gosh.
but it's a lot of fun.
Is it downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to. Oh my gosh.
Go
So
to
I'm
it. It's
sorry.
a lot of
Didn't mean to
fun.
digress
No,
on
you're
the
good.
microfiche, but go ahead. All right.
So he was born in 73, and we knew because we also run, which I'll talk about in a little bit, we also run a company called Mystic Novelty Company,
Okay.
which is a bunch of novelty like toys and gifts and everything that are all alien cryptid themed.
Okay.
But we knew, so we've always had an interest in UFOs and aliens and all of that. We knew in 73 there was a big UFO flap that went sort of all across the country. So what we did is we started at the beginning of the year in 73 and we started going through the machine. And a lot of the beginning of the year is just Watergate, Nixon sort of dominates it. Starting in the summer, you start seeing some reports, mostly national reports at the beginning of UFO sightings. They sort of entered into our local sightings in late summer. There was a sighting in Pascagoula, Mississippi, which is probably the most popular one, the most well-known sighting from this time. Pascagoula, Mississippi, they had, sorry, I'm diverging a little bit.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
If you don't know this one, Pascagoula, Mississippi, home of Jimmy Buffett, if you're a fan. But
wait, do you know this story, Brian? Ooh, this is a new one for you too. All right, sweet.
There were two guys out fishing, and they were on a pier, and they saw this craft, which was sort of, I think the best way I can describe it is sort of shaped like a comma. It was sort of rounded towards the front, and the tail sort of went out like this. And then out of it became these three beings. And they were all gray, really wrinkly skin, no eyes. They had like carrot-like protrusions instead of a nose and ears. Their legs were sort of fused into one, and they had like claw-like lobster hands. And they were sort of paralyzed with fear, and they took them on to their craft. And they said there was like an eyeball like sphere that sort of examined them and then took them back down. And then they went to the police station. The police, very dismissive, but
obviously
they interviewed them, and then they left the room and they left the tape recorder going. And when they listened back to it, they expected them to just sort of be like laughing or not, trying to sync up their story, but they were just horrified. They were so scared just talking about how scared they were, which led a little more credibility. Blue Book came down, some guys from Blue Book came down, they interviewed them, and those two men never talked about it again until the younger one of the two put a book out about a couple years before he died, and he just passed away about a year ago. And that was the first time he ever talked about it publicly. But that was the biggest story of the 73 wave, and it hit our area about the same time that incident happened in Pascagoula. So you saw incidents in the paper start popping up. Greenville, Johnson City, Bristol, all along the way. And it was all these personal UFO sightings in Greenville, I believe it was. They had a woman who reported that a craft landed in her yard and that somebody tried to grab her children. She said it was a craft that was as big as a house. But you saw all these different sightings, whether it was just in the sky, like Brian, my husband's mom, saw, or whether it was somebody seeing a craft land like it did in Greenville. Most of them were just UFO sightings. The paper started poking fun at it a little bit. You saw a lot of UFO cartoons go in there. There were national reports that this was sort of just a distraction from all of the political news going on, as you always sort of get that claim.
Yeah.
So we sort of pulled all those articles, all the local articles, and he ended up writing a book on it, Saucers Over Appalachia, and he put that out in 2016. And then we moved to China not long after that.
Okay. Wow. Total curveball.
Yeah, unrelated. And then
it was almost so natural. You were like, yeah, naturally, we just moved to China. Okay, continue.
Not long after that. So then we were there for a little over a year. And then when we moved back, we started Mystic Novelty Co., which is, like I said, it's all about cryptozoologies. We have like toys and all sorts of things that we make ourselves. And that are all to do with aliens and cryptids. So we were vending a lot of festivals at that time. Mothman Festival is probably the biggest one up in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. They have about 50,000 people that come out to that one.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
their
just a
whole town
couple.
is sort of almost dominated by Mothman now. It wasn't as big when we first started getting into it, but I think the first time we went was the year before we moved, or maybe 2 years before we moved, and it was just a couple thousand people that were there.
Mhm.
But it's huge now. And so we were vending all these festivals and we were like, I think we can do this. But we wanted it to be connected to an event that people knew. And despite Saucers Over Appalachia being out, it wasn't, it wasn't a Pascagoula incident.
Mhm.
And, but one we knew about in our region was up in Wytheville, Virginia. Um, so we started Wytheville UFO Fest about 5 years ago. In Whitville in the late 80s, early 90s, and they filmed an Unsolved Mysteries episode about this. You can watch it on YouTube
'Kay.
if you look it up. They have the full episode on there. In Whitville, Virginia, there were thousands of UFO sightings in the late 80s, early 90s,
Hmm.
and a man named Danny Gordon was the radio show host there, and he was sort of the main investigator, it seemed like, who took over reporting all of these UFO sightings. And he ended up putting out a book called How UFOs Ruined My Life.
Hmm.
Because he had the government harassing him. He had people breaking into his home. He had so many incidents, and people started calling him, crazy Danny G and
Yeah.
everything. So when we got the idea for Withful UFO Fest, we decided we couldn't do that since we weren't from Withville unless we sort of got the blessing of Danny Gordon. So we had to sort of track him down because he had retired from the radio station. He's an older guy. So we contacted the radio station. We had to leave a message, and they said, maybe he'll call you back. And we set up a breakfast with him.
So he did call you back?
He did.
Okay. What did you say in the message that enticed him? Were you like, we believe you, we're not,
We said,
this is not a trick?
we sort of just said who we are. We said, we are thinking about starting a UFO festival in Whitful, but we'd like your blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I think he liked that level of respect that we
Okay.
wouldn't do something without talking to him first because he is the guy.
Mm.
So he was sort of testing us the whole breakfast. He's a funny guy.
I mean, former radio.
So
Yeah.
he's a funny guy, but he was also very skeptical of us because he doesn't know who we are.
Yeah, for sure.
Whitful's about an hour from Bristol. He's never met us. So we talked to him about all of our interests, and I think he could see that we were very sincere. And we became very good friends with Danny, and we sort of set up Whitful UFO Fest, which was more of a convention than a festival. So it was indoors at the Whitful Community Center, and we did that for 3 years, and it was a lot of fun. But we felt like, first of all, as we mentioned earlier, I work at Carson Newman, which is an hour and a half from Bristol, the opposite direction, closer to Knoxville. Whitful's the opposite direction, deeper into Virginia. So some days when we would need to go down to Whitful, my drive was starting to get insane because it's about 3 hours just to work and back, and then another hour to Whitful, and then an hour back from there. So when we decided we wanted to move the festival outdoors to expand it because it was starting to get really tight in the community center, we decided to bring it back to Bristol, where we were from. And we had enough of a following that we also wanted to celebrate the sort of UFO history of the Tri-Cities, which is what Saucers Over Appalachia specifically focus on, the UFO wave of 73 in the Tri-Cities. So that's last year. We moved it to Cumberland Square Park in downtown Bristol. And that's how Saucers Over Appalachia came to be. Long way to get there, but
I mean, that's okay. That's awesome. And so indoors, is it the same kind of thing where you had vendors and you had speakers and you had, just like Saucers Over Appalachia, or was it a little different?
It's a little different. We did have vendors and we had speakers in a separate room. We still had a costume contest, but we couldn't have, and we'd sort of always pictured it more like a festival is how we always sort of envisioned it being at some point. We couldn't have live music, and we're big music fans, so we wanted to have music. The first year we had somebody doing just like electronic music in between speakers, but you couldn't hear it unless you were in the speaker room. Everything's just sort of separated out. We wanted it to be a more open space. So we couldn't have live music. There's just not as much room to expand. It gets a little stuffy. We needed food, but it
Mhm.
was a little limited in the community center. They wanted you to use their food, but they're not really set up for conventions. They're set up for like
Yeah. Community events.
community events or weddings, even. So we did convince them the last year to let us bring in a couple food trucks, and we had to, they worked with us, but it was harder. Here in Bristol, it's all open. The city's really so shockingly very receptive to us and actually very excited. We had the woman who runs the city park come down to the festival last year, and she was like, "This is incredible!" Like, she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe there were all those people. And the same with the library. We had our speakers at the library because we have the music going on the same time that the speakers are, and we feel like we need projectors and everything, which outdoors create some
Yeah. Doesn't really
difficulty.
work.
Right.
Yeah.
So the library is just down the street from the festival.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year, the library is even sponsoring us because
Oh,
last year in the
nice.
speaker rooms, we only had standing room left. So we drew
Wow.
so many people there that they
Yeah.
sort of embraced us a lot this year too. And they're sponsoring the festival. So our speakers are there throughout the day and live music on the stage at the park. We've got putt-putt, we've got face painting. There's a lot you can do outside that you can't do in an indoor setting.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
similar, but livelier, maybe.
Yeah. And it's completely family friendly.
Completely family friendly. But not to say that it's like kiddie, because it's not, because kids aren't our main audience, but
Yeah.
we do have a lot
Yeah.
for kids to do. So like our speakers, maybe necessarily wouldn't be, your kids might not be interested in all of the speakers, of
Yeah.
course. Our speakers are interesting, and depending on what you're into, you may have kids that are into it, but
Yeah.
our speakers, I'll talk about them now. The way we separated it out,
You were like, I guess
and
I'll talk about them now.
the way we separated them out, and this was some debate because everybody,
Wait, debate between like you and your husband?
a little bit.
Is there anybody else that is
It's-
joining you guys to put this on, or is it literally just the two of you
It's,
guys?
I mean, my family volunteers and helps us like run the booths, but it's
Okay.
running the actual setting everything up, and all of it's us. It's just the two of us.
Okay.
We should probably bring other people in, but we're a little
We'll
particular.
help.
Yeah.
We'll help.
That would be great.
There you go. You got two more.
Perfect. So what we found, and no surprise, everybody is into something very different
Mm.
when it comes to UFOs. So the way we set up the speakers this year is in the morning, we are calling it the experiencer morning. So we have Natalie Hill, who is local to the area. She works with Citizens for Disclosure, which is a group, UFO network. They'll actually be set up. The Virginia chapter will be set up at the UFO festival, but she's with the Tennessee chapter. And she set up her own 501c3 that is sort of a support group for people who have experienced, I believe the way she refers to it is non-human contact, intelligent contact. She believes that she has herself experienced this, and she thinks that people that have had this sort of contact shouldn't be treated like specimen, and that they should be embraced with love, especially when so many of them have experience where they want to share about messages of harmony and peace and interconnectedness of the universe and all of that. And so it's sort of a support group that she set up for people that have had this sort of non-human intelligent contact.
Okay.
And then she's our first speaker of the day. Then we have Dr. Allison Brown, and her husband Will, who both spoke at our last year in Withville. They do some very high level. They do contact. They do focusing on star seeding, if you've ever heard of that.
I don't know what star
So it's
seeding
sort
is.
of tracing your origins through the universe,
Okay.
and where you, forgive me if I'm wrong, this isn't my area of expertise,
Okay.
but, and Allison is a total pro at this, but you sort of find your origins in the universe.
Okay.
And then they also do healing, contact, They're very interesting people. She can speak on it a lot better than I can. She's a doctor, Dr. Allison Brown, and they're a great couple. But it's very experiencer focused. It's very healing, loving messages, which is great.
Mhm.
A lot of people not totally into that, which is fair. So our second half of the day, our afternoon, we have a break in the middle of the day of our speakers, so that if anybody that wants to go to the costume contest,
Yeah.
you can walk back over to the park, go to the costume contest, head back over. We've got Wild and Weird West Virginia, so we've got Ron Lanham and Joe Perdue, and they run a podcast in West Virginia. They're researchers. They're going to focus on disclosure. They're going to focus on all of the modern day research that they're doing.
Yeah.
They also consider themselves experiencers, but they don't focus on maybe the spiritual part of it, like
Okay.
the earlier in the day. And then our final speaker of the day is Jeff Ferran. He runs Strangeology podcast, who's kind of gotten really big in his short form content, but his long form content gets some as well. He's a really interesting guy, very lively. He's going to focus on a lot more of like the pop culture stuff going on right now.
Yeah. Which there's a lot.
There's
Literally
a lot.
right now.
Literally right
Yeah.
now.
Like even, from the first time I met you back in April to
Mhm.
now. I mean,
there's been so much.
Yeah.
2 releases this month, so.
Yeah. Well, and then movies and the documentary,
Mhm.
and it's so confusing because the documentary is Age of Disclosure, right? And then the Steven Spielberg movie is Disclosure Day. It's so confusing.
It's confusing.
I can't handle the word disclosure anymore. It's in everything. But yeah, so and I wanted to watch the Age of Disclosure before we sat down. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it. My husband
Okay.
has. So they got a preview because he was working with Citizens for Disclosure for a little while.
There's that word again.
I know. And they did like a live viewing of it together
that's
through
cool.
Zoom. And he was a
Well,
little skeptical of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, wait. He watched it through Zoom?
Yeah, they did some
That's
weird like
weird.
Zoom setup where they could all talk about it as it was going on.
Oh, okay.
And the thing about it is, he is somebody, I always describe our relationship as like I'm more of the Scully to his Mulder,
Okay.
where I'm a believer, but it's very like I come at things a little more skeptically than he does.
Yep.
Where he is very absorbing everything
Okay.
and excited and just full on.
Just jumps in.
Yes. But he was skeptical of it. And now, at first, Citizens for Disclosure was very all for it, and now they've sort of backed off of it and said
Interesting. Why do
a
you
lot
think
of
that
this
is?
isn't true. A bit of it's like some of the people speaking in it used to work for the government, which I think when we're talking about UFOs, you sort of have to be skeptical when the government's giving you information. You have to think,
course.
why are they telling us this?
Grain of salt.
Right.
Or they're telling us this and what are they not telling us?
Right.
Which is often more,
And who is this person? Because it's hard to look up credentials when you're speaking with people that are very publicly out there from the government. Why this person? How do we check and see what they actually did?
Mm-hmm.
Why would the government allow this person to talk on this? And so you have to view everything skeptically. And I think when we're talking about people who used to be government agents, it gets a little blurry. It gets a little hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in the sort of UFO community have sort of started to look down on Age of Disclosure. So maybe not a bad thing that you haven't seen it. And although watch it, make up your own, make up your own mind.
Do you think you'll watch it?
I probably won't.
That's fair.
I feel like Brian screened it for me and he's like not worth the time. So
well, and it's funny because there's been like over the past couple weeks we've tried to watch it, right? Or we've like sat down and it's like the only way that you can get it though is either renting it or buying it through Amazon. Like that's the only way. Like you can't get it any other way, which is weird. And so we've like, we should watch this. But then I know that when I'd emailed you prior to coming on, I wanted to like try and do like a little bit of research because when it comes to UFOs and things, I'll admit it. I don't know a whole lot. I don't. Probably just normal average things that people know of, right? except we do watch the Y-Files. And so I was like, well, I'm going to tell her that we love the Y-Files. So and then you were like, heck yes, Y-Files is great. And that's my knowledge is things that I've heard
Well, I think you
on
probably know more. I mean, I know
Y-Files.
Y-Files has got very popular, but I think you probably, if you watch Y-Files, you probably know more than the average person.
I don't know. Brian. Yeah, Brian. Anunnaki. Brian loves. Brian loves that. Have you seen the Anunnaki Y-Files?
I haven't. When did this one come out?
Oh gosh, was that 2 years ago?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
I don't think
Okay,
I've
you
seen
need to
this one.
watch about the Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
Well, I love Hecklefish, by the way.
Well, we have a
He's-
hecklefish. I was going to
Do
say,
you?
we have the stuffed hecklefish with a little tinfoil hat that
Yep,
talks
yep.
sitting next to our bed.
Hilarious. I was actually gonna make a little tinfoil hat for Gizmo this morning, and I forgot. Dang it! That would have been great. You go see if Annalie has some. They have some in the lounge. We'll make some. We'll make some on the show. So the Anunnaki is like a whole can of worms, and you probably find it very interesting. But the Anunnaki has to deal with. Have you ever heard of like the Watchers or the Nephilim or anything like
Yeah.
that? Yeah. So that all of that came from the Anunnaki. So the story from Y-Files is that the Anunnaki are from, what was the name of their planet? Do you remember? Began with an N. Nala. I actually think it's something like that. And their planet was dying. And the Anunnaki were giant people, right? And they were very strong, giant. They didn't look like we do, but kind of, but hands and feet and things like that. And so they were trying to search for a new planet that they could use some kind of resource to clean their planet. And gold, which they found here, was a very powerful agent to do that. And so they were mining and harvesting gold from here, but what is it? Nibiru. Oh, I guess I wasn't that far off. So then when they came here, and who was it that worked for the Anunnaki that they brought here?
It's just a slave race.
Okay, so they just took a slave race here, and then the slave race was smaller than them, and they could control them, and they were mining all the gold, and then breeding and other things started happening, and then a revolt against the Anunnaki, but the slaves didn't win, and then who there was breeding that happened.
The Anunnaki needed
Oh, that's right. They went to the lab. Okay, that's right.
It's a book. Zachariah Sitchin.
Yeah, Zachariah
Big
Sitchin.
chunk of Zachariah Sitchin's book.
That's right. So they went into the lab to try and create the perfect slave, basically. And then that's what created the Nephilim, because they end up creating these evil beings and things like that. So it's a super interesting.
Nephilim came from slave race.
Breeding with whatever they made in the lab. But I thought it was the slave or whatever came out of the lab was just so evil. Dang it. You got to look it up, Brian. Listen to us. We're just spreading disinformation over here.
Going into crazy detail. You go crazy.
Oh, well, I was just trying to explain it. Do you just get upset at me for explaining something in detail?
There's so much we have to get right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, the advice my husband gave me when I came on, he's like, everybody interprets something a different way. So, even if you say something wrong, just say that you interpreted it differently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I interpreted.
In general, something like this.
Thanks, Brian. Anyways, the Anunnaki. I don't even know how to make it general.
No, this sounds familiar to me. I feel like I'm sure my husband would be screaming at me if he was sitting in this room right now. Also, like he would be, except he would be sharing every single detail with me because I'm sure he knows. He's one of those people.
Well, he probably would have corrected me because I made so many errors, which egregious errors. Clearly, I need to watch the. Yeah, I need to watch the Anunnaki episode again. But it's all part of this though, because it's all like the giant ships and all the things coming and all the. I don't know. That's one of the most interesting Y-Files I think that I've watched.
Well, and that sort of brings up the part that I feel like one thing that's really interesting is the alien races and sort of their connection, which is another thing that people are really interested about, are the different alien races. I think the four most, most notable ones that people know, although there are many that people know about now, are the gray aliens. And some people think that gray aliens turned into humans.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people think that gray aliens are sort of just like worker bees
Mm-hmm.
and that they're sort of ruled over by other alien races. There are also one of the ones that people have heard the most and that people reference all the time are the reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sort of like the
lizard people.
Yes, exactly. And they are more of, sort of thought of as the evil ones of
Yeah.
the universe.
Yeah.
There are the Nordics, and they are thought of as peaceful, very loving, sort of looking out for us, trying to protect us.
From
Reptilians, possibly.
Yeah. Lizard people.
Yes. And then there are the mantis beings,
Okay.
who people think of as the ones that sort of are the overall of the alien races,
Mhm.
that not evil, not necessarily positive, but they are the most powerful of the alien races, and maybe the grays work for them. And that's getting a lot of interesting attention right now. A lot of people's experiences, especially with the mantis beings,
Mm-hmm.
like mantis beings showing up in people's bedrooms, and sometimes they're like, I had a knee injury. The mantis beings healed my knee injury, or I
Mhm.
saw a mantis being tear me apart, and then they just killed me. And then all of a sudden I was put back together, and they were like, well, see, I could do this to you, but I don't want to do this to you, but that's what I could do to you. So don't be afraid.
Weird.
Yeah. So you're getting a lot of reports of that lately, a lot more talk about the alien races, which I think is a really interesting one, because I feel like this didn't get as much attention. Like, you always had stories where different aliens popped up, like the Pascagoula one, or back in the 50s, there was the Hopkinsville goblins, which were like little gray goblin creatures
Mhm.
out in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Well, then the Roswell stuff, right?
Roswell stuff,
Yeah.
of course.
That's. We just watched that one on the Y-Files too, right? Was that the little boy who got the phone call? Is that the one?
No, that was about time travel.
Time travel's
That's
fun.
right.
Some of my favorite Y-Files episodes are the time travel ones.
time travel ones. Okay, go ahead. I digress.
No, you're fine. Even something like as popular as Mothman, which,
Mhm.
people think is a cryptid, but that was all UFO related. John Keel was researching Mothman, but there were UFO sightings all around then. So he was researching all the UFOs. He would sit there and just monitor and report on all of the UFOs. If you read the Mothman prophecies, it's all about that. So it all seems interconnected. So Mothman could be an alien flatwoods monster that happened in West Virginia too, back in the 50s, right around probably 52, around the same time as the Hopkinsville goblins. That was another one in West Virginia that was like an alien type figure. So there's a lot of different alien races, and I think that's interesting. It's interesting that we have the four that sort of have become more prominent,
Mhm.
and none of those really notable ones, for the most part, fall into those categories. Maybe the Hopkinsville goblins, maybe Roswell, could be classified as grays, but um would but almost never hear of mantis beings until recently.
Mhm.
We get some jokes about reptilians and lizard people and all
Mhm.
that, and especially with like politicians. And the first year we did Whitful UFO Fest, actually, we got a call. I got a call while I was teaching, and I got a voicemail from this woman asking if we would call her back, and I just sent it to my husband, and I said, hey, will you call this woman back, and she has some questions. And what she did is he called her back, and she went on this hour and a half long conversation with him about how she used to work as a security guard, and she met this person who was a psychic, and she said, I went to shake his hand, and then his mask slipped, and I could see that he was a reptilian, and then all of a
Oh my
sudden,
gosh. Yeah.
um so that's a big one that we're getting a lot of reports on now. And
So people just call you with stories?
sometimes. But even when we're at the festivals, people will come up to us and they'll say, I've never told anybody this story before.
That's how they always start, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, and I think a lot of times it's true. Even when we were just vending the festivals, one of our first festivals we ever vended, I think the first one we ever vended was up in Pennsylvania, Kecksburg UFO Fest.
Okay.
Um, and that one is a really interesting incident that happened, I believe, in the 60s, which was sort of this UFO shaped like a bell almost. And then it had all these symbols around the bottom of it.
Like the Liberty Bell,
Sort of,
Pennsylvania?
kind of. Some people think it was like a time traveling Nazi bell. It's so
Weird.
yeah,
That is super specific.
it is. That's one of the theories. Some people think it was like Russian satellite, possibly that fell. There's a lot of theories, but I remember this old woman came up to us. It was a weird festival, and I think it's sort of changed since then. They had like people racing in mattresses down hills on wheels. It was very strange. We were one of the only vendors that was selling anything UFO related
Huh.
at the time. And so we would have people come up to us. And one of the ones I remember most vividly was this woman, probably about around 85, that came up to us and said, I've never told the story to anybody, and told us the story, her UFO story.
What was it?
I cannot remember now, which is horrible, but I can't remember. But she talked about when she was a teenager, how she'd seen this UFO and she'd had this UFO experience, and was too embarrassed to ever tell anyone.
Wow.
And we get these stories every festival we vend, and even more with the UFO festival. Even my neighbor last year, when we were talking to her about the UFO festival, and she ended up coming out, but she stood there in my yard and told me about her UFO story. And
Huh.
we get these all the time. People that are like, I've never told anybody this, or I've only told one person this, but they don't want to share it because they don't want to sound crazy. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most fun parts about running a UFO festival is people feel like you're not going to judge them,
Mm-hmm.
and they can sort of just tell you their story. And I think that's one of I'm not interested in every part of disclosure because I think a lot of it is leaning towards like military technology, which is not personally my thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it doesn't seem extraterrestrial to me, so you lose my interest a little bit. A lot of people are into the military
Mm-hmm.
technology, and that's great. And I'm glad it's happening, but it sort of loses my interest there. But these stories, and I think the reason some people are sharing these stories more often is that the disclosure and the attention that it's getting within the last decade, since like 2017, um, is taking away the stigma of sharing these UFO stories, so people feel a little more comfortable. They can come out to a festival, or they can see all the publicity that these UFO stories are getting, and they feel like they can report, or they feel like they can share these stories now,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of pass them down, which is interesting.
So that's your favorite thing is
Probably.
all the stories that
I
people
love all the
have?
stories, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of rooted in Appalachia too. So I like that there are so many stories here in Appalachia. And I think it's maybe some of it was because people used to be outside more often, but also like a lot of Appalachian history is rooted in storytelling. So I like that. The connection that we have with this festival is in Appalachia, and
Yeah.
it's rooted in Appalachian history. So
Well, there's supposed to be a lot of, I mean, it's a hotbed for UFO activity in this area, right?
it is.
Um, and it's weird. Like we were last, when was that? September, we went camping at Grandfather Mountain. We went camping at Grandfather Mountain, and we just had a group of friends. And we had a friend that was visiting in town, another Brian. So like all the Brians,
I
right?
always joke that my husband's friends, when he tells me these stories, he's a little older than me, but his friends are all named Brian, Kevin, Wayne, or Brad, and it's like all of his friends there's four names, and there's Owen, Jack, and then
Yeah,
that's all.
that's it.
All
That's
of
it.
you have the same names.
Yeah, all the names. Um, and so Brian came to visit, and we went to Grandfather Mountain, and they got up really. Was it that the morning you guys went out? They went out super early. They like 3 o'clock in the morning to go hike, and then they wanted to get some sunrise shots. And Brian ended up getting shots where you could see visibly something, and then the next shot there was nothing there, and then he got another shot, and so there was like weird things. He was like, "Leah, what is this?" And he was like, "My lens is clean. What are these? How many images did you get?" It was like 2 or 3, right?
It was a few because there was one where you had like these three things in formation, but they looked like oval. It could have been birds out of focus, but
Hmm.
it was just weird that they were there because nothing. I don't know. It was weird, but the one that's really weird is I had one shot of the whatever trees and mountains and whatever, there's this thing right above the trees, and it's casting a shadow, and it's fairly large. And then the next photo, like the photo before, it wasn't there. Then it was there, and then the photo after, it's not there. And it's not like I shot and shot and shot. Like I think I had it on multiple, so it would just, when I push the shutter, it would just go.
Yeah.
So it would take multiple shots.
Interesting.
That's right. I forgot it cast a shadow, whatever. Well, I'll have to send them to you.
Yeah. No,
'Cause,
please
like,
do.
It was like, he was like, what are these? This is super weird. And so we're looking at it. And it's one of those things, like, you can either dismiss it or you can be like, that's very interesting. That's
Mhm.
something. And then you end up sharing it with somebody. Right. But like that, I think that's the only, I don't have any stories. I don't think, unless I was abducted and I don't know,
It could be.
which all of us, right?
Yeah.
Could be.
No, I personally haven't experienced anything, and maybe why I call myself the Scully of the relationship too. But my husband, I'll share his story. He wouldn't mind. There was a story he tells that he was a teenager. His mom had just gotten home from the grocery store. And she went inside and said, just, will you carry the groceries in? So he went outside and he said, there were these lights in the sky and they were just sort of going like this with one another. And he said they would shoot a beam back and forth. And he said he stood there and watched them for like
How old was
10
he?
minutes. About 15.
Okay.
And he went inside and said, Mom, come out and look at these. And she's like, nah, just totally dismissed him, didn't care at all. And he said, I stood there for 30 more minutes and stood there and watched them until I got bored. He said they just were floating around one another, moving all these crazy directions that a plane or anything wouldn't have moved. They would shoot a beam of light back and forth between one another.
Interesting.
There's another story where when he was a baby, and this is the one that his mom brought up, so he doesn't remember this one, but she saw that one in the summer of 73. And she said she was standing there watching this UFO. And she drove over a couple streets over to his grandmother's house. And when she got to the street in the grandmother's house, everybody in the neighborhood was standing there looking up at the sky, looking at these UFOs or whatever they may be. And then he has another one where he and his sister and mom were driving in the car. And this could be one of those where you have the missing time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you were abducted or not, but they were driving along a road and all of a sudden their car shut off and they didn't know where they were. They kind of just didn't know what happened and just have no idea what happened. They were just alone on a street. No real memory of how they got there or what was happening right before it, but a sort of missing time situation. So
yeah, odd.
Yeah.
Well, and then I just recently learned about national parks too being like a thing. You don't split up. Number one.
Oh, never split up.
Yeah, come on. That's hiking 101. Because that just doesn't make sense anyways from a hiking standpoint. You don't ever, there is no dividing and conquering. If you're hiking, you have to stick together. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
There's supposed to be an agreement with the.
There's what?
Supposed to be an agreement with the government and the aliens that national parks they're okay to take people on national parks.
Yeah, that's weird. How do you feel about that?
I think it's interesting. And I mean, I could see why people would feel like there's more activity in a national park because you're outside. And I have to wonder, especially in our day and age, if people just aren't used to being outside and
Which
looking
is
up.
really sad.
It is. It's really sad. And that's a whole nother
issue.
But
we literally are the opposite. We're this.
Exactly.
We're looking down. We're not looking up. Like
so
for
sometimes
anything.
I wonder when people go outside for something like that, when they're not used to being outside at night, or sometimes during the day, if sometimes they're just seeing things that are always there.
Mm-hmm.
Or are these things always around us and we're just not looking for them?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Some people are saying that there's no aliens here now because they're disinterested in humans, bored.
Yeah.
Or they just like the way we are, feel like we're going to destroy the planet, feel like, whatever it may be, blow each other up. All possible.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think that they are here And
Among Us?
possibly.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me, especially reptilians. You know, our planet I feel like is so negative, and some people say y- you feed reptilians on anger and they feed off of anxiety. And I feel like so much of the world is now focused on pushing you things that are negative on social media and pushing things that are going to make you anxious, feeling
Mhm.
like you're left out, feeling like you don't belong.
Mhm.
And all of that, if you believe in reptilians, you have to believe that's what they're feeding on. If you think the government is run by reptilians, as some people believe, run by lizard people,
Mhm.
you have to
Lizard
think,
people.
exactly. You have to think that they want you to feed, they want you to feel anxious. They want you to feel upset. They want you to be
Mhm.
mad by the news every time you turn it on. And it's working.
Mhm.
And so I always joke with my husband when he gets mad over something little. I always say to him, stop feeding the reptilians.
Yeah.
Because, and it works. It sort of snaps him out of it
For
because,
sure. Yeah. Then he's like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
dang it.
Because I don't know. It's like it's so easy to get upset every day when you just turn on anything.
Yeah.
And I think, I think that's one of the best arguments we have for if we're going to make an argument about aliens being on Earth. It's like, yeah, unfortunately, maybe it's the reptilians.
Yeah. I
The way
mean,
society looks right now. I hate to be negative, but
yeah. Well, there's a lot of people too that don't. I mean, UFOs, like you said, everybody and aliens has their own idea,
Mhm.
and people have seen so many different kinds of things, and of course, anything that's different, right? I mean, we don't know how to process that. Our
Mhm.
brains can't process that. And I know that depending on, if you're a person of faith too, to try and view things through the lens of your faith also. And then there's a lot of questions that come up too. I mean, I think in recent times too, there's a lot of people that associate even like God as alien and, not from here, and that aliens are all part of everything. And, it's just, and you can go down those rabbit holes for sure, because
Mhm.
whatever, and then we have the internet, so you can find whatever information you want to like secure your point.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, I always think it's funny how you can just make up anything and you can Google it, however outrageous it seems. And there's some YouTube video out there that is saying that exact same thing.
yeah, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah.
not the only one.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
but or awful depending.
Yeah.
But no, that's it, there's people like Chris Bledsoe out there. If you've ever heard of him,
Mm-mm.
he is.
Have you, Brian? Chris Bledsoe?
Sounds familiar.
He's an
Okay.
interesting one who's out there a lot right now, and he believes that UFOs are angels. Um, Very tied into religion with that one. A lot of people believe that like the star that people followed to get to Jesus was
A
a
UFO?
UFO guiding them there.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot tied into it, and I think it's interesting a faith tie into UFOs because some people think. I remember maybe our second year of Withful UFO Fest, we got a message on Instagram saying, I would never come to your demon fest. And I was like,
Mm.
it's such a weird way to view it. But some people believe that UFOs are demons.
Yeah,
That's a
for
concept
sure.
all on its own.
I think that's a
And
pretty common one in some of the Christian community. I think that they think that aliens are totally demonic.
yeah, which is unfortunate because I think if you believe that God made the world and you believe that God made the universe, in my view, I would believe that God created alien races. Like, we're not the only one. The Bible's written from our knowledge of what we have of God, and we're focused on earth because
Mm-hmm.
that's what we is in our control, somewhat. And so, yeah. And it would be no surprise that God would create other alien races. So I don't know. It's a different ways to interpret it, but I could see why they would think that, and I think it's an unfortunate way to view anything outside of the earth would be
Mm-hmm.
demonic, and that's unfortunate.
I mean, it's the hard part, right? Is that we have the Bible and all the interpretations, and that becomes the hard part. Is
Hmm.
what is the truth and what's reality, and then trying to figure that out. under the lens of through the Bible too. It's not
Yes.
easy. It's not easy to do that because we're never going to have those answers.
Exactly. That's
As
what I
long as
mean
we
is you can
live,
interpret
like-
thing in every different you can interpret something in every different way. So I think
Yeah.
you can come into, and good for us as somebody running UFO festival, you can come into UFOs and view it in all these different ways. You can be from whatever political party you're in, or you can be from any different religious viewpoint, whether it's Christianity or we've had people speak at the UFO festival that are from a lot of different UFO religions. We've invited them on, and they're always happy to speak and give their points of views. We've
Mhm.
had a great guy from the Raelian UFO religion who's gotten some attention lately.
What's
and
that?
Raelians are really interesting.
Wait, what do you Raelian?
Raelian.
Raelian. Okay.
Yeah, so
sorry.
started by Rael.
Okay.
This is the Rael. And he was a French race car driver, or is. He's still alive.
Okay.
In his 80s, I believe. French race car driver. And he believed he got abducted. And he sort of commingled and bred with some aliens. It seemed like maybe from his description, maybe Nordic aliens. They're very
Okay.
people.
The nice ones.
The nice ones, they look like people. That's what they're called, Nordic, usually described as like blonde, tall,
Blue eyes.
blue
Yeah.
eyes, yeah.
Pale skin.
Mhm. And he sort of started the Raelian religion on this. They're very like science based. They started a clinic or they do a lot of social causes, but their whole thing is like we're very science focused. They claimed they cloned a human.
Okay.
They got some controversy because of that. They did.
What year was this? Like, when did this start?
I believe it was the 70s.
Okay.
So they more recently have done things to they've opened several clinics in Africa to help with female genital mutilation, to help reverse and repair things like that for women.
Interesting.
They've done a few different things. They have some controversy, some sex scandals and things like that, but they have a joy festival that they hold in Japan most times, and where it's very focused on happiness. They talk a lot about science, but it's a very interesting religion. Everyone we've met from there has been really nice. They're all very focused on trying to advance science, commingle with alien races, and sort of harmony in the universe. As we can advance our harmony in the universe through science.
Interesting.
Brian, my husband, has also interviewed people from Aetherius Society, interviewed people, or he's talked to somebody from Unarius, which are about to have a documentary put out about them as well, which is a really interesting one based out of California. They've got some of the best art. You'll have to look this up later, but they're...
Yeah, how do you spell it?
Unarius.
Just U-N-A-R-I-U-S?
Yeah,
Okay.
just like you think. After there was founded by a husband and wife. After the husband died, it was taken over by, her name's Uriel.
Okay.
Uriel. And
all these names.
I know. She is one of the most interesting looking people. Her outfits, just you'll have to look these up, because almost like drag outfits, like one of her best ones that I've ever seen. And I have to recreate this at some point for the UFO festival. But she's got this huge wig on and lights wrapped around her hair, a whole black dress that just goes out like a ball gown, and it's the planets all over it. And up in the top of the bodice is a sun.
Oh, awesome.
But
it sounds like a magic school bus dress.
it sort of feels like that.
And she always has like outfits for whatever they're doing that day. You just was like, that was like a magic school bus solar system.
But I think a lot of people think about these UFO religions is that they focus really negative, because I think people think of, ones we've had in the past, like Heaven's Gate, which, a lot of people associate as a UFO religion. And obviously that would result in a lot of deaths. I don't know how much you want me to get into that one, but most of the ones at Aetherius Society, they're all about positivity. So they put Aetherius Society as one that's very intellectual, but what they do is they put positive thoughts into batteries, and they send their positive thoughts to places in the world that have experienced maybe a tragedy or something. So they're trying to send their positive thoughts to other places and positive energy to other places.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
all of these, UFO religions are all focused mostly on positivity and harmony and trying to spread a positive message, which is, I think, is really a great way to view the world. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather focus on positivity than anything negative. So,
Do you think that there are nefarious aliens out there?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think the reptilians obviously are
Mhm.
very nefarious, and I do think they have bad intentions.
So
And
do you believe in the reptilians?
I feel like I probably do.
Okay.
You know, I feel like I probably believe in all of the big four.
Okay.
Um, I feel like I've heard too many of the same stories, and you always have to. I say that, but then I always pull it back, and I'm like, but you always have to question: is at a certain point, is it mass hysteria? It's like when you have all the sightings in the area in 73 Way, for instance, or like it happened in Whitful in the late 80s, early 90s. You have to wonder at what point does it become mass hysteria and everybody's just reporting they saw something because now you're looking for it.
Yeah.
So is everybody seeing a gray alien or a mantis being or a Nordic alien because they've heard those stories before?
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time, I say yes, but then maybe we just have bad humans and it's easier to say it's a reptilian.
Do you think that all the movies and stuff, because there's so many movies about aliens,
Yes.
do you think that they are like from personal experiences, or do you think that they're like to try and help us to be comfortable with aliens? Because I mean, alien movies run the gambit, right? There are some that are like Independence Day, where they really just hate us and they want to take over and destroy the world.
Mhm.
And then there's other ones like Flight of the Navigator from the 80s, which is great. And he just, abducts the boy and they become like best friends. And have you seen that one?
No,
What?
I haven't seen this one.
Flight of the Navigator?
No.
Oh my gosh. It's from the 80s.
Okay.
The voice of the spaceship, and it's like an alien that lives in the spaceship. That's his thing, but he's just metal. It's voiced by Pee Wee Herman, so it's
Really?
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
And it's a little boy who he's playing frisbee with his brother and dog in the beginning of the movie, and then he ends up going through the woods to try and recover his frisbee, and he gets abducted. But he becomes like best friends with his abductor, the Mac. What's his name? Oh my gosh, what can I remember right now? I think he calls him Max. It's great. It's an old, fun 80s movie. I think it's one of Sarah Jessica Parker's like literal first movies.
Okay, this isn't the one that has the little boy in the wheelchair in it, is it? I don't think it's that one. That's Mac and Me.
Yeah, no, there's no wheelchairs. Flight of the
I was going to
Navigator.
say, I was thinking that one was an ET sort of ripoff thing.
Yeah, no, this one's not. This
ET,
one's fun.
similarly, very friendly.
Yeah.
Very friendly
Well, and then
alien.
he ends up coming back. What? It is Max. He ends up coming back, and everybody is an adult, and he's like, he's still a kid. He doesn't understand. So like, it's a kid's movie though. It's a kid's movie. Like it's fun. So it's totally safe. But so Flight of the Navigator.
Okay.
You got to see it.
Oh, now that I am thinking about it, little Gizmo right there.
Mhm.
I mentioned Hopkinsville Goblin
Yeah.
earlier. Hopkinsville Goblin inspired the Gremlins. There's a
Oh,
lot of
really?
yeah, if you read about it, I think it might even be on either the Hopkinsville Goblin Wikipedia or the Gremlins Wikipedia, but it mentions how part of their design was taken from the Hopkinsville Goblin inspiration because they had the big ears and the big eyes. And
What was the name of the town, Brian, for Gremlins? Because I feel like it might have been something like Hopkins or Hopkinsville. Now that you said that, maybe if it's inspired, I wonder, because they went, small town USA, unless they went totally fictitious.
yeah, that's it.
What?
Kingston Falls.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah.
Kingston Fall, nothing. All right. I was like, well, maybe they did. Yeah, that's, I know the rules. You don't feed them after midnight. You can't get them wet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we actually met one of the, I think she's one of the only children that's still alive that experienced the Hopkinsville Goblins. Like they came and landed in somebody's yard. And
So what's the story? I don't know the Hopkinsville Goblins.
okay, so this happened, I think, in around 52 or 55, somewhere around early 50s. And what happened is this small town, Hopkinsville's not that small, but it technically happened Kelly, Hopkinsville, so like which is a little bit more rural. Um, and the spacecraft just landed in this or this family's yard, and I think they had about 5 children. These little goblins got out, these little gray, some people describe them as like gray, silvery green
Okay.
and big yellow eyes, and they were just sort of like mischief causers, and they just
Hmm.
sort of started wreaking havoc on their farm, and then they left. It was just they kind of came as quickly as they left. And there's a small we went to a different version of it, but now there's a new festival in Hopkinsville proper that I think it's called Goblin Con or something like that.
It's perfect.
But it's a really interesting one. We used to make these little resin figures. We crafted them, and we would pour resin and mold them, and they were about this tall of the little Hopkinsville goblins, and we got to gift one to her. And then she molded ours and then continued making them and selling them.
Weird.
But we could only be so honored because I guess it's her
Yeah,
legacy. So
yeah.
if anybody was going to steal our design, it might as well be her. So
You know what? It's okay. She's doing it.
Yeah.
She must need it. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't care. I didn't mind it, so I was like, if anybody's going to take it, at least it's hers now. And we saw her at another festival, and she's like, "Oh yeah, look, I've modeled mine after yours," and she was just real positive about it. So
Yeah.
we can only take it with that, and we were real
For
positive
sure.
about it too.
Yeah, that's
no point
great.
being mad about anything. You
Yeah.
can't feed the reptilians. So
Yeah. Lizard people. That's hilarious. Wait, do you need more water? Brian, she's
I
out of
love some.
water. Oh, you're gonna have to go to sparkling
that's
water
fine.
though. Oh
Fancy.
my gosh. Going to the dark side.
I'll take that one. That's good.
Raspberry nectarine.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, I'll just put him down here. Okay. So how hard is it to balance UFO life with professor life?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think I stay busy all the time, which I think is not surprising. And even when I'm on summer break right now, I keep myself constantly busy. That's why we do a UFO festival, probably. But then we leave and we go to Hawaii. But
After the festival to decompress.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's my students know about it. I tell them. The first year I did it, I was like a little hesitant. And every year that I've taught at Carson Newman, who are great to me. And I do have to say, like in my interview there, I was an adjunct for years before, but when I was in my interview to go on ground full time, I was like very hesitant to talk about my company in detail or the UFO festival, which was the first year that I was doing it, and we were still in the planning stages. I was very hesitant to bring anything up, and it wasn't a big deal. But then I got into the last interview with our president, Dr. Fowler, and he asked me specifically about it because he was very interested in entrepreneurship, because we wanted to, that was before the Moser Center had started up and we were getting ready to start it. And he's like, "You're one of the only people in the business department that has entrepreneurial experience." And he said, "Can you tell me about your business?" And I was like, all right, I just have to go full in. And I was like, I'm just going to go in. And then he then, for almost the rest of my interview, talked about his UFO experience.
Oh,
and
interesting.
He worked with this government agency, and he's like, they gave us a Q&A at the very end. He said, we hadn't talked about UFOs all day. And he said, the question just popped in my mind. So I asked them about UFOs, and, and it was funny. And they were very accepting. So every year I work there, I get a little more comfortable just sort of talking about it. So if I didn't teach entrepreneurship, I think it would be a lot harder. But because this festival is entrepreneurship, our company is entrepreneurship, I can bring it up. And I think the students, even if they're not interested, are amused by me, at least. And amused by this. So I do have students every year, a couple that come out to it. I think one of my students has been almost every year, which is a lot of fun. She was there every year we were in Withville, and now she came to Bristol last year. So
that's cool.
And that's a long drive for them. So
So how did you know that you wanted to get into entrepreneurship, with 1, to open a business, and then 2, to teach about it at the collegiate level?
I feel like, and I know this isn't the case for everyone, but from my experience, because I know so many people who own their own businesses, I feel like I was born that way, that I was destined to be an entrepreneur. And it wasn't until much, much later that I realized everyone wasn't like this. I thought everyone wanted to run their own business, and that was the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not want to? You can do exactly what you want to do, and you're your own boss, which sounds great, but it has its own
Yeah,
drawbacks.
for sure, for sure.
But I thought that was the ultimate dream that everybody had. I thought that's what everybody was working toward. And then so it seemed natural. Actually, I was going into teaching at my original goal when I said my whole childhood that I was going to be an elementary education teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, kids aren't my thing. Um, I had just not been around them since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I switched when I graduated through my undergraduate, and then I started getting my MBA. And then after I got my MBA is when we moved to China and all that. And it was like very natural for me I was already running my own businesses in some level since I was a teenager, doing different things, odd side jobs and things like that. But so when I got to my doctorate level, it seemed very natural that I would choose entrepreneurship. And my dad sort of discouraged it. And he's like, why would you not do marketing? You love marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but I love entrepreneurship more. And it sort of entails everything. I say I teach
Yeah, you
the
can
fun.
still do marketing in it.
I teach the fun sides of business because I think management can be fun, marketing's fun, but entrepreneurship's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was natural. It's what I am. And I know by asking my students, how many of you want to run your own business? I maybe get 5 in every class. There's not that many. It's a lot of them want to work for a big business. They don't
But
want to
out
be
of
their
how
own
many?
boss.
5
30,
out
30-ish.
of... Okay.
They don't want to be their own bosses, a lot of them. They just want to work for a company and make money and have a family. And that's great because everybody can't run their own business. We need people to work for other businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
It was shocking to me, even when I went into the classroom, how few people wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, this is a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are born with this sort of entrepreneurial spark in them. And then they just sort of have to cultivate it. So I was always destined to do it. So whether it was going to be a UFO festival or something else.
What was your first... You said that when you were a teenager, just little things, jobs here and there?
Yeah. Let's see. Probably my first one was selling cupcakes. I got really into cupcakes.
Did you make the cupcakes?
Decorating
nice.
them, like
How old
very
were you?
fancy. Teenager age.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
I had little Etsy shops that I would open here and there of like polymer jewelry and different things like that. So I was always doing something. Always had to have a creative outlet. And I've always felt like if I was going to spend money on something, that somebody else should spend money on it too. Cut some of my costs down, which always helped. But I always have something going on. I am a professor, which helps a lot. It helps us do a lot because that's my main job, and I love it. And it's great that I can help flourish other students too. And I have a lot of students that now come to me and they can see what I do very publicly now. So it makes me feel more confident about being out there and sharing it with them.
Yeah.
But they come to me, and I had a student come to me with a business idea, and I helped him walk through the whole business plan last semester, and get it started. We got an LLC, and
Oh, nice.
it's a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
and the Moser Center helps with that too, and I'm really happy that I could help get that up and going
Yeah.
too. So I think it's a lot of fun. It's a natural sort of kismet, even though at a surface level, they're not, sometimes they feel in conflict to me, but,
Yeah, I hear you.
but I really enjoy it. So I'm happy they're out there, but it was a calling, I guess,
Yeah, I hear you.
however cheesy that sounds.
It's all right. It's okay. Lizard people. I'll say it. What? What'd you say? You found what photo? The mountain? The thing? You gonna bring it to me?
It looks terrible.
Your photo?
Yeah. So that's the one without it. If you go to the next one,
Which way? Oh.
see that thing just over the top of the trees?
No. I do not. Not on the phone. Pause. We're going there again this weekend too. That's what's crazy. So we're going to Grandfather Mountain.
Ooh. Have you guys ever been to Brown Mountain?
On the phone? That's it? That's your shadow?
Interesting.
But I mean, sometimes that's all you get.
That's really interesting. And you didn't see anything with your eyes?
No. And if you go to the photo before it, it's not there.
It's a beautiful photo. Oh, yeah.
Other way. Right, I think.
She's got it right.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Weird, right?
It's a weird, it looks like a weird shape in the photo, but it's hard to tell.
They're always like that.
I know.
It's like, it's that camera.
Yeah. It wasn't a phone. He took it with the actual camera, not just like and there was no, like he's very aware of cleaning the lens and everything too, because he never wants to. And did BP take photos too? And he didn't have anything? So they were both taking photos at the same time.
Interesting. Have you all ever been to Brown Mountain in North Carolina? Have you heard of Brown Mountain Lights?
No. Have you heard of that? Brown Mountain Lights? Okay.
It's very famous in North Carolina. We really hadn't been until we were on the way back from an airport trip
Where-
in Charlotte.
Where? Oh, okay. I was going to say, where in
Yeah.
North Carolina?
It's like between here and Charlotte, somewhere. I'm really bad with directions and geography.
It's all good. It's all good.
In
You
general.
teach business, not
Right,
geography.
I don't, you know.
Go. Yeah.
But it's somewhere between the two, but overlooked just like that. But people see lights there, like orb lights all the time. People go
Huh.
there all the time because there's just almost constantly some sort of
Interesting.
lights, and people assume UFO activity. So Brown Mountain Lights.
Brown Mountain Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll have to look that up. That's
Nothing,
interesting.
no like major incidents or anything, but a lot of reports.
Yeah. Do you think that the disclosure from the recent files that have been opened, do you think there's going to be more? And what do you think what do you think their goal is to just release it a little bit at a time like this, and why now?
Good question. So I think the way they're doing the disclosures right now are very curated. And I think that's why they're releasing them like they are. So if you looked at the most recent disclosure, really the last two, the files that they released, the videos, everything they released, date some of them back to the 50s all the way through very recently. And it's not like an authentic, like, just here's a dump of information. It's like, oh, we pulled these certain things for you,
Mm-hmm.
and here you go. And we're just
Mhm.
dropping this here for you. So it just feels like somebody went through and very specifically pulled some incidents out. And there were some interesting things, and I think it was a little disappointing, as I expected it to be. But most of the files, most of the videos and everything they released were already out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a lot of new information. I
Mhm.
mean, there were some interesting ones. There's a lot about like I said, a lot of it's military based. You know, a lot of these videos that they released are coming from war-torn areas like the Middle East, which you have to assume is probably military technology that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting some interesting ones. Like there's footage of like the UFOs like sort of going into the water, which I think is really interesting. And there's been a lot on that the last several years of UFOs and being water related. You know, we had like the Nimitz and everything that were related to that. Probably one of the biggest incidents of that a couple years ago. And they're calling those USOs, like submersibles.
Mm. Okay.
And so some people think UFOs originate, or USOs originate underwater now.
Yeah.
Which I think is an interesting theory. And
Yeah, we've heard that more recently too. Weren't we just listening to that on a podcast the other day? They were, and they're always moving underwater.
Timber shed.
Yeah.
Timber Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just recently on Joe Rogan the other day. And
Yeah.
he's a funny character.
Yeah. Right here in Tennessee.
I know. We were joking about how he kept saying, like, he couldn't even spell UFO and stuff like that.
Should get him as a speaker. See if he can come to the festival. He's here, right?
I met his assistant actually at a Moser Center breakfast.
Oh,
that
really?
we had up in
Hilarious.
Knoxville. And he couldn't make it. That was when we were still doing it in Withville, and I need to reach back out now that we're doing it in Bristol and in
Yeah,
Tennessee, so it makes more sense for him to be there.
for sure.
But I always hesitate, like bringing in politics to it too much.
Yeah.
So just because you never know how something
Yeah.
like that goes. But um, he's a funny person. But he's on the UFO committee and congressional committee, and which is interesting. But there's a lot about the USOs that was in there. There was one about the Chinese spy balloon thing back in 2023. There
Mhm.
was one video of them shooting that Chinese spy balloon down. Whether you believe it's a spy balloon, I think it probably is something to do with military something, which, again, is not my area of interest. I'd like
Mhm.
my UFOs extraterrestrial. So,
Mm. Yeah, you like them extra spicy,
yeah.
but not mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I like him to be positive and happy and looking out for us, maybe.
Yeah. Not the lizards.
Not the lizards.
Not the mean people.
Yeah. But, I think that the reason they release things like this a lot is because it's sort of like a look over here situation.
Mhm.
So here's aliens, maybe,
Yeah.
so that you're not looking at something else that's going on right now. Unfortunately, I like that they're doing this. And, 20 years ago, we would have never thought they would have released these files. And so I think it's positive that's happening. And maybe one day we'll get something out of it. But I feel like when it's the government curating something, it's always going to be a little disappointing because they
Yeah.
can choose what they want to release. They're not going to come out and say, oh, yes, 100% aliens exist unless something really horrible is going to
Yeah.
happen. And we have to know.
Yeah.
It's sort of what I feel like. It's the same when the JFK files got released. Like, yeah, they released them, but it was
Mhm.
edited to death. So we just never got anything out of those either,
Yeah. Someone takes a Sharpie to it first.
Yeah.
Redact.
Yeah.
Redact.
So you
redact.
lose a
now
lot of-
it's ready. Yeah.
Although it gets a lot of hype every time we get a UFO disclosure dump.
Yeah.
It's not really adding anything. It's not really giving us anything new, especially if you're following everything that's going on
Mhm.
along the way. This was sort of just,
Yeah.
information we already had.
Underwhelming. So
Mhm.
do you think that most of the UFO community was really bummed about all the disclosures lately?
Yeah, I even titled our last email that we sent out for the festival, like our little tagline in the email box, like disclosure might have been disappointing, but this festival won't be. I was like, that might make someone mad, but maybe somebody thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no, that's
You know.
funny. I would have laughed.
I laughed at myself.
So it's you guys just putting on this festival
Mm-hmm.
from like start to finish. How do you decide the vendors? Do people come to you? Like how do the logistics work? Because that's huge.
It's a lot. Yes. So we have our website, which is saucersoverAppalachia.com.
Mm-hmm.
And there's places to apply right on the website. Yeah, people come to us. I mean, I do a lot of marketing. Go figure.
Yeah.
And so we have a pretty strong social media presence out there, especially on Instagram. Now, very recently, against my will, a little bit TikTok. But
Why against your will? Dive into it. Unpack it.
I think it's just the short term. I'm not a big short form content type of person.
Yeah.
So I think it rots your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but that's the whole
Mhm.
point is this.
Yes.
Is to keep you going like this.
and I don't like that. And I'd never
Yeah.
downloaded TikTok, but
Ditto. Same.
yeah, but they had Meta sort of changed their algorithms recently where you don't see things from the people that you follow anymore. So, like counts, follower count, not really follower counts. Follower counts keeps going up, but you don't see like the same engagement because people who follow you don't see your content.
Mm, interesting.
So I went on TikTok, I posted a video, it got 30,000 views like the first day. So I was like, okay, maybe, I'll just post these pictures. I don't film any videos other than just like our pictures from last year and things
Mhm.
like that. Easy, but then it's clearly reaching a new audience. But short form content is not my thing. I don't do a lot on the app. I'm sorry, any of our TikTok followers.
Sorry in advance. Well, we never got into TikTok just because there's a lot of privacies and things
Yeah.
behind TikTok. And so we didn't we kept our boys off. We have 2 boys.
Mhm.
And we've kept them off social media anyways because we don't want their Their faces don't need to be anywhere.
No.
They're almost 5 and 6, so like nobody needs to see them. If somebody wants to see them, they can see them in person.
Yeah.
Or like, we can hang out and they can take pictures. So if we're doing something fun, but just don't put it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we had our boys in 2020 and 2021. And I mean, I don't even know when TikTok like started getting big, but I kind of feel like it was maybe around that time or after it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like it was like COVID. It sort of blew up.
And so I was just like, I was kind of taking a hiatus anyways because I wasn't wanting to put the baby, my new babies at that point online. And so I was like, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to download that. So I still have not gotten it.
Yeah.
And then
I don't look at social media a ton until like we get to this part of time where I have to start promoting on social media.
Yeah.
For the festival. I'm not somebody who likes to spend a lot of time on social media because I think it just goes so negative.
Yeah.
And I try to be really positive.
Yeah.
If I haven't made that clear.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So I don't love it anyway. And I think TikTok is something where you have to play things. And then if you're playing things like that and you're just scrolling like that, you can't talk to somebody next to you. You're not relating. And I'm always with my husband, it seems like. So it's like if I was in bed scrolling on TikTok, then I'm not relating with him, at least with YouTube or some other sort of long form content. Like we can watch a video together, we can watch a podcast together, and we can talk about what's going on. But I think, and I see it as a professor, like everybody's attention span is so short, and it's, ugh.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
In Bristol.
Oh, okay. So you're literally born and raised in Bristol.
Yep.
On the VA side or Tennessee side?
Tennessee.
Okay.
My husband on the VA side.
Okay.
So.
Oof, you guys.
I know.
How do you make it work?
Star-crossed lovers.
Yeah, for the Halloween parade, does he stand on the Virginia side and you're on the Tennessee side like, hey, how's it over there? It's better over here. No, that's hilarious. Okay, so Bristol's changed a lot, huh?
Yeah. Really the last 20 years, it's like completely transformed.
In a good way?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's gotten so much, it's weird. As a kid, I always thought, oh, I'm going to move out of Bristol. I'm going to go to a big city. And then, the more I'm in Bristol, the more, as I grow older, I love it more. I work at Carson Newman, which is an 1.5-hour commute, but I live in Bristol because I love Bristol. I don't love Knoxville. It's fine. I'm sorry, any Knoxville viewers.
It's okay. You're fine.
But Bristol, it's interesting. It's got an interesting history. I think the more we're there, the more we know, entrepreneurs in the area. Like, downtown, there's places like Holler House, if you've ever been there.
We haven't been
Bristol.
there.
That's an interesting one.
Holler House? Have you heard of that one? You've heard of it? Have we walked past it? Probably. We probably will. It's right on State Street.
Yeah. So it's an interesting little like art gallery shop. They've got all sorts of gifts, and a lot of them are like alien and UFO encrypted thing. And we met another guy named Brian Surway.
It was what? It was either going to be Brian, Kevin.
Yeah.
I don't remember the others.
Brian, we met him when he was just like an artist that was sort of couch hopping. And then he made a following for himself on social media and eventually opened up Holler House. And we're actually doing like a pre-party there where they're doing an exhibit called the Astrobiologist exhibit that opens the day before the festival.
What?
Yeah, so it's Astrobiologist.
The Astrobiologist
is what they're calling it. So it's
okay.
all like UFO themed artwork that's going in Holler House downtown. Cool. And then a lot of the vendors they have, or a lot of the artists that they have there are going to be funding the festival along with artists from really like all over several states. So
people are coming from like, what's the farthest someone's come to one of the festivals from?
Oh, we've had some from pretty far away. Okay. I mean, we had a girl that came. She was cousins with somebody that lives here in Bristol, but she planned her trip around coming to the UFO festival, and she lives in Mexico.
Wow.
So not that that's common, but it's fun to see.
Did she participate in the costume contest?
She did not, which I was disappointed in.
Yeah, bummer. Come on.
Costume contest is my favorite part. That's the part that I really like. I run all of the main part of the festival, and my husband runs the speakers for the most part. But the costume contest is the one part that I truly host. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very costume-oriented person. Anytime I can be in costume, I'm going to be in costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's more fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a skirt right now that has a UFO on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So anytime I have a chance to do it. So this year, it seems like we're getting a lot of attention for the festival costume contest, which
Mhm.
if anybody's interested, we have like trophies for first, second, third place. We have cash prizes, lots of other like prizes and festival merchandise that you can win, and it's free to enter. And
What have people dressed up that have won in the past?
last year, our winner was a mantis being, which was funny because my husband
Yeah.
was also dressed up like a mantis, but he
Okay.
didn't get in costume until after the costume contest.
Are you sure this person didn't just let their mask slip?
Could have been. But we have great photos of her holding up the trophy in her little mantis costume with a purple cape behind her and everything. It's just, I'm so glad our winner was a mantis being.
Yeah.
The
That's
first year at Saucers.
hilarious. All right, so it's free to enter and anybody can do anything?
Anybody, any age, welcome to all. Yep. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, we would like it to be spacey themed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but be creative. Alien Elvis was second place. So,
Ah,
get creative with it.
interesting. All right. I got some ideas. My brain's already going. Brian's mom makes all the Halloween costumes for our
Ooh.
kids, but it's a little short notice to have her get on the phone, make something cool. What? Yeah. I'll just get a hecklefish and walk around with that. I'm sure people do that.
People would love it.
Has somebody dressed up as the hecklefish?
Nobody's dressed up as Hecklefish
What?
before.
He's great.
I know.
I think he's a needed entity for the show just
Well, they
because
took him off for a little while. AJ was like, it's hard to edit and everything. And so there was that little period of time where he just dropped Hecklefish. He wasn't in every video. He's like, he'll be on there like once a month or something. And then I feel like views probably dropped off because Hecklefish is back more often now.
Yeah.
So
Well, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
I haven't seen, have you seen anywhere Hecklefish isn't in it?
there was
Yeah.
just like this blip in time. So he may be back full time now.
Okay.
But there was this blip
Yeah.
in time where he was like, he'll be on here like once a month, but I just can't like edit. I can't spend all the time editing
Yeah.
Hecklefish in.
I mean, it's worth it though.
Yeah,
'cause
I think I
'cause-
was like, that's the part that makes it unique. So
well, and some of the subjects are really heavy. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
like anything, it's not like UFOs and things should be a heavy subject, right? Because I mean, it's just a subject. It's just
Mhm.
could be like anything. You just talk about it. But because there's been so much drama and there's a lot of times, in the past, you were dubbed a conspiracy theorist if you mentioned anything that was out of the ordinary.
Mhm.
But I think that these days, out of the ordinary is more common,
Yeah,
right? So
I
I
think
mean, it's
people
not,
are more accepting.
yeah, and
But-
it's easier to talk about.
I think I think the great appeal of Y-Files and why it got so popular is that Hecklefish made it, feel more accessible.
Yeah.
So even people that weren't maybe interested in the actual topics like could get in on it.
Well, and
so.
he says all the things that are in like everybody's brains.
Exactly. So
So it just in a New York accent. It's hilarious. But so that's really awesome though. I'm excited about the festival and coming to it. Now I kind of want to dress up.
you should. I'm encouraging it.
Okay, I got to think about it. Maybe I don't know. My gears are turning now because I'm just trying to think of something nostalgic. I
We've
think
got
it's
a
probably what I
great-
would do.
First place gets a big trophy like this big. It's got an alien head at the top. It's got a UFO abducting a cow on it at the bottom, wrapped around it.
Did you design the trophies along with everything else?
A couple of years ago, I searched high and low for UFO trophies, and the trophies have grown over time because I think we're probably the only people that buy these trophies, but they see that we buy them every year. So they have expanded the options and they've just gotten bigger. So as they have offered more options, the first one was like this big, and now
Yeah.
this is our second place one. It's small, but they have grown each year, and now there's alien medals and there's all the stuff. So
Wow.
they have expanded as I have been purchasing, and I like to think I'm the only one buying these trophies. So I like to think that they're responding directly to me. They were the only company that had one UFO trophy.
Hmm.
And I bought it, and it was a UFO at the time. It was just like a little sticker on there, but now it's like a metal alien head, and it's gotten a lot more detailed and everything. And their name's Shopies. I don't know. You could find them. It's just they mostly do pageant stuff, so I don't know why they have these alien
Interesting.
trophies on there.
That's aliens and pageants. I don't know. One could say that they might have some similarities.
We have thought about doing some sort of Miss UFO pageant, and in fact, spoiler alert, my costume this year.
Ooh, is it
I'm
Miss UFO?
I'm Miss Saturn, and I'll have
Nice.
like a big purple wig on and a skirt that has little hoops around it for the Saturn rings.
Awesome. That's
and
super fun.
so it's a lot, and I have a little sash that says Miss Saturn, of course. So
I mean, you have to have
yeah,
that for sure. Yeah, that's like mandatory.
Last year I was a Nordic alien,
All right. Well, I'll think about this. I'll figure out what, because we're going to be there. What vendors or what other things do you need for the show?
We are on
I
wait
mean,
list
not
for
show, but
vendors.
the
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you can
festival.
call it a show.
Yeah,
We are
all the
full.
above.
We are full on vendors, but we do have a wait list. There's always
Okay.
inevitably people that drop out last minute for, whatever reason, family emergency or something. So if you're somebody that has some things prepared already, you can go to our website. There's a vendor application page right on there, and you can apply, and you'll hear back from me pretty soon. We have hopefully everything pretty much covered at this point because we are quickly approaching June
I know.
13th.
June 13th, 10 to 5.
10 to 5, rain or shine.
I was just going to say rain or shine.
Rain or
'Cause, I
shine.
mean, the weather
Cannot
lately.
reschedule. I'm going to Hawaii in the next week.
Yeah.
No, we do it rain or shine. It'll be fine. But everybody's got tents and everything set up, so you'll be fine. There's live music all day. We've got 5 or 6 bands playing throughout the day, ranging in music style. The costume contest is on the stage right in the park. Speakers in the library, so if you need to cool off from the heat, we've got the speakers over there. But hopefully, we're pretty much ready to go. Although it doesn't feel like it.
It never feels.
It never
Whenever
feels
you
like
have
it.
something big like that, it's difficult.
Until about 10:30 a.m. on the 13th. It will not feel like everything's ready. And it starts at 10.
I was going to say, isn't that the day it starts?
Yes.
It's 30 minutes
And
after.
I
you'll
don't
be
get
fine.
a sort of breath of relief until about 10:30 a.m. and there's people there and milling around and you can sort of feel the excitement. So
Is it a fear that people won't show up?
I have that fear every day or every single time we've done this, and this is the 5th time or this the 6th time. I have that fear every night. I have that nightmare all the time that I've forgotten something or I didn't do enough and people aren't there, but there's always people there. So
Mhm.
I just sort of have to
Trust the process.
not feed the reptiles.
Don't feed him. What is the craziest story that you've heard from somebody that you can remember?
There was a lady in Buchanan County. We were in Virginia. We were there a couple months ago for my husband doing a talk on UFOs, and then he also has written some other local history books. So one day he was doing a talk about the UFOs and Saucers Over Appalachia, his book, and then the next day he was doing one on a local true crime down in Botetourt County, which is like sort of outside of Roanoke. And she said this was another one where she told us that, and she wouldn't say it in front of the crowd that was there to listen to him. She came up to us afterwards, and she was probably in her 70s, and she said she was walking her dog, and it was almost like the sky started swirling
Hmm.
and opened up, and it was like there was almost like a tentacle that came out, and she's like, it was so horrifying. She's like, I was just like paralyzed with fear and everything. And then it was like came as quickly as it went. And it just, all of a sudden it was gone. And she's like, I don't know what it was. But it's a weird one. I've never heard one like that one before.
Yeah.
So it sort of stands out.
Tentacle.
Giant.
And it didn't do anything. It
Didn't
just
do anything. It just sort of reached out.
like this and
Yeah.
then vanished. That is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever met anybody that thinks that they've been taken?
Not truly abducted. No,
Okay.
I've heard the missing time stories, but nobody that I have personally met has said that they feel like they've been. Actually, Natalie, who I have not personally met, Brian's met her, my husband, but Natalie, who will be speaking at the festival, the first speaker that we have of the day, she has been abducted, or she believes, but I think she mostly calls it contact, is sort of the term that a lot
Yeah,
of them use when they consider it more positive.
You don't. Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah,
You
because
abducted
you
is
don't
kind
feel
of
like
negative.
you were abducted. Yeah, because
Yeah, I get
she
it.
feels like it was sort of like a gift that she was given to have this sort of contact, that she was chosen.
Interesting. That's an interesting perspective
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
So,
Because not everybody might feel that way. That
right.
it's
And maybe that means that she was with, and I believe she believes she was with like Pleiadians or the Nordics, which would make sense if we're talking about the alien races again, that she was with the kindler, gentler
Mm-hmm.
more peaceful beings. So she would feel like that was a gift.
Interesting.
Yep.
I'm gonna
So
have to research all these different alien types.
I know. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for fun, I think it's interesting to learn a little bit about, what people are talking about. And a lot of people are talking about these alien races now. So
Especially these days.
it makes you
So,
wonder why. So
Yeah. And it also makes me wonder what people aren't saying.
exactly.
Because I'm very skeptical like that, though, because if there's something that is very like out there, hey, in your face, then I'm just like,
Well, you always have to wonder, like, why
Yeah.
did this all of a sudden become a topic? But then you have to wonder, did somebody start talking about it because somebody else started talking about it?
Yeah.
And it's hard to find the root cause, especially with this UFO. And
you have to have healthy skepticism.
I think healthy skepticism.
And I think it's important to ask questions, though, too, because I think that if we stop asking questions and like the ability to think for ourselves, then we really have lost. Because like if you can't do that, then there's no curiosity. And I think that then we just become machines at that point. And
Exactly.
then it's sad.
And I think that's why we like to have all of the different UFO perspectives. There's a lot of different UFO festivals in different places, but I think that's why we like to sort of have, even though I know there's people that are only interested in disclosure and research, but that's why we still like to have the people that are the experiencers, the more spiritual side of UFOs and aliens, because I think it's important to look at things from different perspectives and understand why people look at things from different perspectives, because I don't feel like you can truly get a full picture of what's happening if you don't hear all of this, if you don't question everything and then sort of put your own pieces together from what you listen to. But you have to listen to everybody, not just the people that come up with the exact same weird idea that you have. So
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I get it. Cool. So let people know where they can find you, how they get in touch with you, or how they find the festival, just so they can, give your little plug right now for it.
all right. We are Saucers Over Appalachia Festival. We are in downtown Bristol at Cumberland Square Park. It's right across from the Country Music Museum. You can find more information about it at saucersover.appalachia.com. For the most up-to-date information, you can go to our Instagram, which is Saucers Over Appalachia Festival. We have all the most up-to-date information there. We also have a TikTok. Don't worry about it.
We already talked about TikTok.
But it's from 10 to 5, June 13th, rain or shine. It's a lot of fun. We've got tons of vendors. We've got lots of activities. We've got photo ops. We've got putt-putt even this year, face painting. We have lots of giveaways. I think I already said costume contest, UFO speakers. We've got several local food trucks, really good ones. I picked them out personally, so I can vouch for them.
And what's your husband's podcast name?
It's Cosmic Omelet Podcast. It's a podcast about UFOs, UFO experiences, interviewing different people that have different perspectives. Some of the people we talked about today are on there. Dr. Allison Brown, Jeff Ferran, who runs Strangeology Podcast. We have a member of the Raelian religion on there that he's talking to. So if you're interested in any of those, there's some really interesting people that he's talked to on there. You can find them on anywhere that you have podcasts. So he's on all of them.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you so much, Robin. I really appreciate
Thanks.
you.
It was a lot of fun.
Come in
Hopefully I
and
didn't say
talking.
anything too weird.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody said anything too weird. Brian, how are we doing? We say anything weird?
We probably said some a little bit weird things.
I don't know. Well, it's what we're talking about.
It's weird.
Yeah, we're talking about subjects that make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Except they don't make you uncomfortable. And I don't get uncomfortable talking about, because when someone's passionate about something, like I want to hear about it. And that's why I was like, dude, I want to sit down with Robin and like learn more. Even though I feel like, I know a little bit. I don't have much time to like research things.
No, I get it. You've got 2 kids that are like 5 and 6. That's crazy.
and we have 2 businesses.
Yeah.
Like we run you're seeing this.
Yeah.
Just us and then our kids. And so we're just it's funny because we're trying to balance entrepreneur life and also trying to figure out the balance of raising like healthy, social, fun boys, like respectful.
Yeah, I can't imagine. We just have a little cat and that's hard
cats,
enough.
Yeah, cats don't require, out of all the animals in the animal kingdom for pets, cats, they're give and take.
Yeah.
Like they're just, you could walk through the door and they might not care that you just came home.
He's needy, but
So he's more like a dog. He's a dog
He's
cat.
a very dog-like cat.
we've been at one point we're going to get another dog. We had a dog. She was like no other dog.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was an alien. She was one of a kind,
Yes,
literally.
that's how I feel. Our little Snopes.
Well, and it's just like when you have an animal like that you love so much, and then after they pass away, because
Mhm.
it really is like it's a member of your family,
Yes.
and so we just haven't like we haven't we're not ready yet. But then at the same token, like we had to put our dog down when our boys were like, wait, was Levi even one yet? Yeah, he was maybe one. So he was in the baby carrier, like when we had to put her to sleep. Um, like we brought them in the room with us. And then our oldest, Judah, was 2. So it's not like they really remember her. And they're young kids. Of course they want a pet. They're like, I want to grow up with a dog. And we're like, dude, we want you to grow up with a dog. Because like,
Mhm.
is there anything better as a kid to have a pet? But then at the same time, it's just like for us, it's kind of like opening a wound because
Yep.
we miss Riley so much.
I had a terrific cat who she passed away at 20. But then
Wow.
Snopes found us. He just found us. Showed up bone skinny. And half a tail. It was a little bloody stump and everything. His whiskers looked like they were burned off, and he was covered in scabs and everything.
Oh, so was
And
he
then
like tormented or
I
something?
kind of think so.
Yeah.
But he came to us like a year or two before my cat passed away. But it's like, and I loved Madison, but Snopes is like that kind of level where it's like, it's going to be devastating.
Yeah.
But he is the most dog-like cat. He's very needy, just like sleeps on top of me, bites my
How old
nose when
is
he
he?
wants something. He's only 11.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh my
we've got
gosh.
many years with him.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
He's like, yeah, for sure.
But
That's sweet. I just love animals.
he's quirky. Yeah, me too.
We have chickens.
Oh,
They're pretty crazy.
I bet.
They're kind of like dogs.
Are
Like
they?
when we go outside, they'll like run up to us. They just make us laugh. And then if you like bend down, like they'll come over and like hang out with you, but their eyes are crazy because one eye's always looking up and one eye looks down.
I had no
Like
idea.
there's one that's always looking for bugs, and then the other one's looking for like, everything, wanting to kill a chicken because it's a chicken. We have a lot of neighborhood cats too. There's a lot of strays. So in the past like 3 days, we found 2 dead birds on property. So we think it might be the stray cats because we looked up that statistic. What is it? Like, did you know that cats kill like 1 to 3 billion birds a year?
I totally believe it.
It's in the billions. It's a B, not an M.
So as soon as we decided to bring Snopes in permanently, he is inside permanently because I don't need him wreaking havoc on anything else.
Yeah.
So
Poor birds.
yeah.
Yeah. And stray cats. But we've got a lot of stray cats in the neighborhood. It's too many. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess they keep the mice in check. And they don't bother our chickens.
Mhm.
Otherwise,
Well, that's good.
otherwise we'd have issues.
Yeah.
But they're just big. Big cats. We'll get another dog at some point. Maybe we'll get a dog and then bring him to the festival and
Do it.
dress it up.
We had a
as,
beautiful poodle there last year who was dyed in leopard print spots and everything, rainbow. It looked like a Lisa Frank painting.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said Lisa Frank. I used to love Lisa Frank.
too.
I feel like you're too young for
Oh no,
Lisa
I had
Frank.
Lisa Frank. Actually, my lunchbox, relevant, was aliens in a UFO bug. Or not UFO bug. It was like a peace bug. It had like a little peace sign on it, and there's little aliens going like this.
You know what? I remember that Lisa Frank picture. I know what you're talking about.
3rd grade, that was my lunchbox.
So have you always been into UFOs then?
Yeah, I
Or
blame my
maybe you
dad.
didn't
He was
know it?
into he was always into Star Trek, so I was watching Star Trek all the time growing up.
All right. So he was a Trekkie and
was a
not
Trekkie.
Not into Star Wars.
Not into Star Wars. No,
'Cause
I
it's
mean, a
gotta
little
be
bit.
one or the
He
other.
did take us to like Star Wars at like when they did the sequels and stuff. He took us to, or prequels or whatever. But
I know. The other 3.
I prefer Star Trek, but sorry.
That's okay. I'm not offended. I'm partial to Star Wars,
Mhm.
but that's also just because I have 2 older brothers and I grew up watching Star Wars. So I love Star Wars. Star
Mhm.
Trek, like nobody ever watched it in my house. So
Yeah.
I never saw it
I
until
think it feels more adult. It's like less geared towards kids, but
Yeah, I mean Star Wars is all over the place.
it's
But
why when I got to 4th grade, I was really upset that my teacher pronounced data like data, not or it's data. She kept saying, because there's
instead of data.
yeah.
Wait, did you watch Star Trek growing up? Oh, your dad watched Star Trek, but and the Star Wars. But you liked Star Wars. It's funny how we draw the lines like that,
I
isn't it?
know.
We went to Star Wars Celebration. My brother got us all tickets. Gosh, I think it was like 2017, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 2017. So we went down to Disney because we were living up north at the time, and we went for the Star Wars Celebration, and it was like because I don't think that I'm that crazy into Star Wars. Like I am aware, and I
Mhm.
love Star Wars. Like they're OG.
Right.
OG Star Wars is what I'm talking about.
Yes, of course.
It's too much now. There's
Well,
way too many, and it's been like
I watched all the prequels because I was a kid when those came out, and then I got lost with the newer stuff, and then they just kept coming out, and then I was like, I watched the first one when they came out in more recent years, and then I was like, I can't keep doing it.
yeah,
I feel like.
it's a lot, and they just keep regurgitating or creating something, and it's like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh! But it becomes. I remember seeing the prequels in the theaters. I
Mhm.
remember those. We were excited about those. But Celebration was the coolest thing for us was that just seeing all the costumes and people go like all out,
Yeah.
like all out. We got a picture with some guy that was probably like, I don't know, like Chewy. He was like 8 or 9 feet tall and he had the full costume. We were just like, wow, this guy dedicated himself. And I'm sure we'll see some pretty cool things at the festival
Oh, I
too.
think
But
you
it's
will. But
that's
people with a franchise like that get really into it.
they
Like
get
they'll be
into it.
so detailed, but ours is a little more free flow.
Yeah. Well, but that's also the fun thing though, is that with all the movies and
Well, it's
everything,
like when we
like
don't have anything they're copying, it gets a lot more creative. So
yeah,
I think that's fun too.
yeah.
But no, Star Trek has a different level of fan. So I don't know that I could call myself like, I don't know if you ever saw this documentary that came out several years ago. I mean, probably 15 years ago, maybe more.
Well, Trekkie.
It
That
was
was
Trekkie. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they had
yeah.
like the Spiner femmes and everything who were so upset with Brent Spiner. And it was like, it's a lot. It's a lot. The
Yeah.
fan base is a lot.
Yeah, it's very intense, and you can like, and that's why like I love Star Wars, but I'm not going to sit there and like argue with somebody over something Star Wars related.
Hmm.
That's not my jam. I'm not interested in that. But that's the fun part about going to festivals or going to things like the Saucers Over Appalachia. It's going to be like cool.
Hmm.
We don't know what we're gonna find and what we're gonna see, and we're just gonna have a fun time.
It's a
And
variety.
yeah, it's a mixed bag in the
Yeah.
best way.
Yes.
And it's just I hope that's a great turnout for you.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're gonna like tell people all about
Please
it,
do.
and we'll be there. And seriously though, if you need help, let us know.
I appreciate it.
Our boys are really good workers. We'll put them to work doing stuff.
I've
We'll
recruited
make sure
multiple family. I have extended family coming in this year
Okay.
to help too.
We'll make sure that we won't ever separate because we don't we can't separate. Nope, that's when things happen. What if there's
It's true.
something that happens at the festival?
Well, I will tell you, Citizens for Disclosure is doing a UFO calling. This is unofficial. We do have an official after party happening downtown Bristol, but we have they have an unofficial event going on, but we endorse it. It's fine.
Okay,
Where
wait,
they are
like
calling down. They're going to be calling UFOs.
oh,
I don't have all the details, but they
So
they
wait,
sent me an email about
just
it.
during the festival,
After the festival,
before
right
okay,
following the festival.
okay, the same day.
Yes.
Okay,
They're going to be meeting and calling down UFOs. I'm sure if you go over to their booth, Citizens for Disclosure Virginia chapter, they will tell you all about it.
interesting. What is their goal?
Call down the UFOs.
No, like what's their goal for the organization?
Disclosure.
Like 100%?
Mm-hmm.
Do they think that's really going to happen?
But they're pushing for it. They do a
Okay.
lot of like advocacy to try to get pressure to get more release of
What
information.
kind of pressure? I'm sorry.
You can
I
talk
don't-
to.
I don't
so
want
they
to
do
sound disrespectful.
no.
But what kind of pressure can
A
you
lot of
give?
like calling representatives
Okay.
and your local representatives, trying to get them to. Brian started volunteering for it, and then it was so much work he stopped volunteering for it.
Okay.
Because they do a lot. I mean,
Okay.
it's really impressive, and you go through like a full training. It's a national organization run by Danny
Interesting.
Sheehan, who is very big in the UFO world, and
Okay.
they're terrific people. But they do a lot of advocacy to try to. They do a lot of awareness. They do a lot of events like that. Originally, they were doing the screening of Age of Disclosure,
Mhm.
but
The virtual Zoom.
yeah. Although they wanted us to host an event showing it, and we ended up not doing it, but because we weren't. Brian
Yeah.
wasn't a fan of he didn't want to endorse it. But
Yeah, I get that.
but they they do a lot of calling representatives and pushing for more transparency and
Okay.
everything like that. So
Well, that's good to know. All right. I'll ask him. I'll talk to him at
yeah,
the
talk
booth.
to them. They're very interesting people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be doing a calling of the UFOs after the festival unofficially.
That's
So.
interesting. All right. I'll go to their website. We'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. It'll be fun. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate
Absolutely. It was fun being here.
it.
Thanks
It's
for
good
having me
time.
on.
This episode is powered by Outpost Roasters, small batch, high quality coffee with soul. Outpost Roasters in Johnson City specializes in freshly roasted, small batch, ethically sourced, fair trade local coffee. That's what sets them apart from the big guys. They work directly with small farms and co ops to ensure responsible practices and rich, balanced flavor in every single cup. Whether it's early mornings or late nights, their 12-ounce bags deliver bold, smooth coffee at a totally fair price. Head to outpostroastersjc.com to explore their blends and single origins. Outpost Roasters, coffee that's definitely worth waking up for.